Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tim, and welcome to the return of the T and or A. I have a whole new batch of questions here from our new established home for them, the RT website. This handy little journal post here and many others like it will be the surest way to make sure that I see what you want to know. I will always check the comments in the videos down below, but I feel like having a more consolidated home for them will make it much more streamlined when it actually comes to making the next video. So with all that house cleaning out of the way, our first question today comes from AWRDude13, who asks, favorite guilty pleasure? Oh God, I'm so embarrassed about this. I am really bad about late night eating. Like horribly bad. Especially when it comes to sweet stuff. Here's the thing. I have an awful schedule. Terrible. The worst. I go to bed really late, I wake up really early, and in the middle I do a whole lot of stuff, so I don't really have time to eat very well. So that means come around midnight or so when I'm sitting here writing videos or editing stuff or waiting for render crawl to come around, surely enough there's like a half an hour or so where the sweet tooth can hit. And inevitably I end up coming back up here with some sort of bagel covered in cream cheese and jelly, or some sort of chocolate something that I found somewhere, or God forbid I go to the fucking fast food place and grab a Frosty from Wendy's or something. How I'm still 155 pounds, I have not a fucking clue. Seriously, it's beyond me. Question number 2 comes from Harwood Rowe, who wants to know, has the Soma 2 curse been lifted yet? Or have you just abandoned ship? Oh God, that game makes me so sad. It's so good, and I just want to play it. I don't know why it won't work. I mean, the game keeps on crashing, and I've tried everything that I can think of to fix it. I've uninstalled it, and reinstalled it, and deinstalled it, and reinstalled it, and checked the INI files, and configured everything that I could possibly think of to make it work. It only does it when it's actually recording something, using XSplit. I don't know what it does that makes it do it. It doesn't do it when I'm recording with Fraps or anything else like that. Why won't you let me love you, Soma? I'm just trying to love you. Quit crashing on me and let me love you. Our third question comes from my coworker, John Mace. Do you really love me, or are all your advances at work just a facade? Aw, you really do know how to charm a girl, don't you, John? Okay, fine. You want the truth? Fine. Mask coming off time. I have a problem. I don't like feeling awkward in social situations. Not the biggest fan of that. And so when I pass someone, I like to acknowledge their presence, especially if it's a friend or someone whose company I really enjoy, or I haven't seen you in the last fucking day and a half. So, hi. But when you see someone 30 times in a day, which is completely likely over at the office, there's only so many times in a day where you can ask, hey man, how's it going? Before, well, you not only know the answer to that question 5 times fucking over, but it begins to sound fake and hollow, and the hollow response you get back of good, how's it going? And then you just fucking pass by isn't enough of a human interaction for me. It's not. So I tend to go that one step further and say the thing that actually makes you mentally engage with me and be there with me in a moment that you remember, instead of just something that fleets on by with a passing phrase. That's why. Next question. Alanis213 says, what is your favorite video or project that you've worked on so far? Or alternatively, what was your most challenging video or project you've worked on so far? I think I'm going to answer both of these questions. My favorite thing that I've gotten to work on was probably my first real job coming out of grad school. I got to work on a movie called Shark Night 3D. It wasn't great. It was some B-movie stuff, but the things that I got to learn, the people that I got to interact with who were way above my fucking station, the things that I got to interact with and get to see on a daily basis when I was shooting on a lake in the middle of Louisiana, serves me to this day. Seriously, it's immeasurable the amount of times that I rely back on that old knowledge when I'm sitting there over at the RT office. And not only from a professional standpoint, but oh my God, so many things happened on that set. We almost got blown up from a boat that we launched off a dock. There was a robotic shark that almost took somebody's arm off, ironically. There was the time when I got really sick on set and the director's wife sent back for this special medicine from her home in Montana that made me feel 100% better in 2 days, and that was fucking great. There was a time that I won $100 from the director for winning a saltine eating contest in front of about 100 crew members. Oh my God. So I think that's got to be my absolute dead set favorite. But as far as the most challenging one, I think I will defer back to one of my videos for this. It has to be that Ballad of League of Legends video. God, I love that video. It's so good. I still go back to this day. It's one of my favorite that I made short of that original Guild Wars 2 video. But the actual coordination of it was like herding cats who are also trying to spin plates and hula hoop on fire. Oh. Because you have to time everything correctly using people who have some sort of lag involved between the Skype chat that we were using and then the actual in-game interaction. You had very split-second timing for very specific scenes that I had in my head and on the page. And every night I got to go to bed after, about 3 hours after everybody else did, having put all of those files into place and seeing the final product and weeping tears of actual legitimate joy because the thing that I was making was actually worth all of the effort that it was taking to make. And very few things can actually give you that feeling. So appreciate them when they do come about, because they are very precious. I seriously, to this day, struggle to think of an idea that's anywhere near that good, and maybe it's because I'm actually trying. But you know what? The honest to gods of it is, when you make something that challenging, something that's that close to your heart, it's going to stick with you. And our last question comes from Sasha, who asks, what was the video game or video games that tickled your fancy into playing them regularly? Honestly, that's changed so much throughout the years, and especially now that we have the ability to emulate all of those games at any point in time and the arcade cabinet over at the office, that I've rediscovered some of the classics that really hooked me as a kid. So you have stuff from on the NES like Guardian Legend, was one of my favorite games growing up, and I never got to beat it because it's super difficult and the password system is terrible, and now I actually can. Adventure Island 2 was always great. There's this one game called, I think it's Alpha Base. I'll correct myself in the editing if that's not the case, where you infiltrate this base as a little dude after running through a Galaga-like spaceship level, and after you infiltrate the base, you destroy the core, and you have to make your way out of the base, usually either backtracking the way you came or through some other new forged path, while the base is about to explode. And it's very stressful, and it's very heinous, and my 6-year-old self couldn't take it. But right now, it's thrilling. So I love playing games like that. And then come about 10 or 12, you end up with like Mega Man X and Super Mario World. I will always defer back to those when I need something to just waste away a few hours. You have classics like, I love Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur 3 is one of my favorite fucking games ever. I will sit there and load up Soul Calibur 3 and go into practice mode and practice with the hardest difficulty CPU until my fingers bleed. And it was amazing, some of the fights that I used to be able to pull off when I was actually better at video games and I had the time to practice and stuff. My roommate Brendan and I at the time would sit there and go through entire 99-second fights, and the goal of the fight was to never stop fighting and never hit each other. Yeah, always be in combat distance. Like, there was no, we're going to be over here, fucking none of that shit. We were sitting there jumping over each other, dodging through each other, using attacks to get around attacks, never touching each other for 99 seconds. And we won 5 times in the roughly 2 years that we lived together. Oh, good Lord. We had so much fun. I love video games, and I love taking stuff like that. Oh, God. Oh, and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That's the other one that I will go back to continuously. I'll sit there and get all the way up to Mike Tyson and then completely quit the game because fuck that noise. Seriously, that's some serious bullshit fighting. I don't hate myself that much. I'm not that sick. And on that note, we'll bring another episode to a close. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted a question today and to those with questions still to come. Don't forget, we now have that permanent link to the journal down in the description below. And of course, leave them in the comments below that. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and as always, we'll see you next time.